Yep, stand
Yeah.
up.
Well, it's not me standing up on it that way. I mean, I'm correct up on it now.
Okay. So yeah, I'll be here.
Don't talk bad about our peeps.
Exactly.
I don't want to have to do what I did the
She's
last
recording.
time.
Exactly.
Only problem is
Like,
too
I
much math and everything.
gotta do this to myself.
Yeah, I did it to myself, so I'm making sure I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, how about let's start? Yeah, I put the words like it's a very difficult chapter there to get your attention, but however, it's easy. It's easy. It's not that difficult. Whatever. I was working this weekend. I was working on the final exam questions for this class, and I got it done. So it's going to be like 36 multiple choice questions and one short essay question. So.
Are you like stopping the market watch game?
I think I set it up when I start the game, and I set it up for when the game will be over. I think it's 17th or 16th. It's either Wednesday or Thursday in week 17.
Okay, so then we'll know whether we have to take the final.
Yeah. Alexandra.
I don't think
I was.
worry about it. I'm so
Yeah.
nervous. I'm scared that I'm gonna wake up one morning and I'm gonna be in last place again.
Oh, I was checking. Alexandra is like way ahead of everybody. Yeah. So how you did it? Do you want to share with us?
I honestly, I wish I could tell you what I did, but I honestly have no idea.
But you can still. What you can still share with us, right?
I saw red on my little bar and I got rid of those, and then I bought one stock and I can't even see what it is. It's my computer.
She probably short sold it. But
Maybe.
How do you get it to go away?
The buy to cover.
You do what?
Buy to cover.
Buy to cover?
Hit trade again. Hit buy to cover.
Well, it looks like
I think I'm in the last place.
Next I found my new calling.
I'll never be that.
Are you in this one or the
I think
one
this is pure luck.
But anyhow, you did good.
I'm still in the green, so I'm proud of myself, but.
Wait, did you
Yeah.
say the top 6 not taking the test?
Top 6?
top 8, bro. Top 10.
I think I said top 3, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm number 3, so it's top 2, right? So it's top 2.
Oh, wait a minute, you don't count.
I do count myself.
Somebody's got a bad trade.
I think I got Amazon, I got Apple, and that's all.
I think I have Apple too.
I have
Yeah.
Apple, but obviously I'm still down there at the bottom, so.
I have Lululemon.
Oh, end date.
I bought that.
End date is 19th.
No, yeah, got me.
19th, the game will be over.
Okay.
The 19th?
Yeah. 19th is Friday, and I'm going to post the exam questions on the 19th. So if you by the end of the day on the 19th, and then if you check this list and you see you're on top 3, not counting me, so you don't have to take the final. You can just earn 100 for your final. Top 10, yeah. Are you in the game, Julius?
Of course, you know.
Are you in the game?
I mean, it's cool with it.
Yeah.
I'm 6.
It's cool.
I'm 6.
Cool.
So I came to the realization I'm going to be taking the final. I'm okay with it.
Well, you guys, it's very easy to make like 30% of gain just in a day or something. So don't give up. Like my undergrad students were saying, like they're trying to find the stocks, like with the price of like 0.01 cent. I don't know where they found those kind of stocks. So just 0.01 cent. That's the stock price, and then about lots of those stocks, and then they shorted and anyhow, and they make tons of money. So yeah, so it's those students did something really crazy, but they make lots of money. But they started at the beginning of the semester 14 weeks ago. So this guy, he was in the classroom, sitting in the classroom. He's bored by the stuff. Like I was talking to the students, to the class, and then so he was just the whole hour he would do stock trading. That's what he was doing. Yeah. So he buys stocks. It was selling for 0.01 cent. I don't know where can you find those kind of stocks. Not only penny stock, it's not even 1 cent. It's 0.1% of 1 cent. They say they have there's a market for the stocks like that. I don't know. That's the secret he told us. But anyhow, you guys can give it a try. If you can find those stocks. Yeah.
Yeah, that was my thing for the
Disney's not doing so a lot.
No, it's not. Maybe it would have released the
They
movie.
can't take strollers in Disney World. So. Next 7 years.
Yeah. So.
They're saying those are very good.
Anyhow, so I've posted the I've posted the help videos for the homework already because I'm also teaching the BISC online class for the same one. So I need to just prepare them for the homework because they're not in the classroom with us. So they need more help like that to tell them, to show them like what to do for each of the questions. That's why I made those videos. But anyhow, you guys can use it as reference. And this chapter is difficult, but however, it's just like if you want to understand it, it's very challenging to understand it. For example, like I'm asking you, like you guys are talking about this Disney stock, and somebody put money into for example, Apple stock. And so if I'm asking you the question, compare between Apple and Disney, which stock is more risky? And you may just think for a while and then give me the answer, either Apple or Disney. And you may have a very supportive evidence to prove your point, right? So which one is more risky? Apple or Disney? You probably were saying Disney because it's more seasonal, right? Disney is more seasonal for their business. Apple has a very strong product and has very wide customer base, and you may have very strong evidence to support your point. But however, I want you to prove it to me. Show me mathematically. Show me the number. Tell me how risky Apple is. Give me a number. Give me a number, how risky Apple is, how risky Disney is. How can you do that? It's just this chapter. We are going to be evaluating the risk level of the companies. And then based on the risk level of the companies, we will try to figure out how much returns we are expecting to get from our investment in the stock. So is that hard, or it's not such a big challenge? Is that hard? If I'm asking you to evaluate the risk, how risky Apple is as compared with Disney, mathematically, can you do so? How? For example, is Apple riskier than Disney or vice versa? And if you invest in Apple and also invest in Disney, which one is supposed to give you higher return? So those are my questions. Can we do something? Can we?
I'm glad you have that faith and confidence in God.
Can we just
Yeah, you do the stock valuation. It was
Stock-
like chapter 8.
stock valuation, chapter 8, but however, chapter 8, yeah, we can, but how can you tell how risky it is?
You should
Chapter,
calculate the expected returns based on probabilities and corresponding returns.
uh-huh, You can do that. For example, you can, yeah, well, based on what we learned in chapter 8, and that's based on dividend, and try to figure out how much like money you can get back from your investment. So, and then figure out how much price you're willing to pay. That's chapter 8. But however, it still doesn't tell us how risky that stock is. It's not like the risky stock will be paying for more dividend. Can we use dividend to tell which stock is riskier? We can't, right? We can. So it's not the way to figure out how risky. Yeah, Adam is saying expected probabilities, right? Yes. Look at what kind of probabilities?
Well, it just depends.
Like Apple. Let's compare Apple and Disney. So probability of what?
Well, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Like the expected returns.
Yeah, you're right, because finance is forward-looking. You always make make predictions for what will happen with certain probabilities, and then figure out the value of that security under that circumstance, right? So finance is always like you make predictions for something might happen with certain probabilities, and then figure out how much is the worst of the security under that situation. You're right. So probability and expected return, but how to do that? For example, we talked about the yield curve is inverted, right? So recession is very likely. For example, recession, we might have a recession in year 2020 with a probability for that to happen of, for example, 20%. And then we might have a normal economy with a probability of, for example, 50%. And the economy could turn around to be very strong with a probability of 30%. And then with this kind of estimations of the future economy, and then we can we do something for Apple stock and the Disney stock? Can we?
Yes.
Yeah. For example, if economy is bad, Apple might lose lots of customers, and their returns, for example, we think it could be negative. For example, it's around the range of negative 10%. And economy is normal, and Apple's return could be positive 10%. Economy is strong, and it's like, for example, 30%. And if we know those kind of informations, then we can figure out the expected returns of Apple. We can make similar predictions for Disney, and then we can figure out the returns for Disney, and then we can compare. Can we do that? You should have something like this in the DSIM class, right? So did that make any sense? So you make predictions of the future economy, and under each situation, you estimate the corresponding returns, and then based on the information, and then you can figure out the expected returns of the stocks. Can you?
That's some of that is situational, right?
Situational, yes.
As
Yeah.
events are happening within the company, it fluctuates up and down.
Yeah.
Disney's probably not doing good because they just upped their prices on tickets.
Let's.
They also spend like a couple billion on stocks.
Well,
Yeah. They have less cash on them.
Yeah.
Let's.
When they have a huge dump truck and money here in a few weeks.
2 more weeks.
Yeah, that's what I'm holding on. That's what I'm holding on for. Because their biggest movie is like almost all time is coming. So.
Economy. Let's just say in recession, Disney will be negative 5%, Apple is negative 10%. Let's just make some predictions here. Normal economy, Disney's will be, let's say, 8%, 12%. Economy is booming. Let's say Disney would be 15%. Let's give it a big number for Apple here. Let's say 20%. Now let's calculate if these are the informations given. Now we can figure out how what kind of returns we will be expecting to earn for both companies, and also we can figure out the risk of the two stocks. It's called expected returns because we're making predictions. The risk of the two stocks. Can we do that? So based on the numbers here, so we have Disney and Apple stocks. Which one you think is more risky here when we compare, when we look at the stocks? Risk means what? Means like potential to lose money.
So it'd probably be Apple.
Yeah, Apple is more risky, right? Apple in bad economy, you will lose more money. But you have to show me how much. How much is like Apple's risk is how much is the Disney's risk level, and how much more riskier Apple is as compared with Disney, something like that. Can we do that? For example, if this is our expectations for the economic states in the future, can we calculate the expected returns for the two companies? What do you think you can do? There's a calculator. Let me show you the calculator first. It's called this. Here it is. Expected return and standard deviation calculator. This one. So the math equation to get the expected return and standard deviation is a measure for the risk. So we use standard deviation to measure for the risk. So we can calculate the expected return and standard deviation for both Disney and Apple. Let's say here. So what you do, this is a calculator. You can get more help for this calculator. Go to his website, zenwealth.com, and so you can find, this is a website. I got the information from here. This guy made this calculator. Okay, so what you can do here, so for each of the state of the economy with certain probabilities, you put down the probabilities in this column. Like our case is, oh yeah, we also need probabilities of, let's say 20%, 50%, and it has to add up to 1. So booming should be 30%. So it has to add up to 1 because, so, okay, so 20, 50, 30. So you should put it here. So the state 1, for example, is 20%, 30, and 50.
20, 30.
And 30, right? And then, so this is probabilities. And the second column is under each economic state, what is the return for each stock? So we have two stocks here. So for, so I said -5, 8, and 15. So it's -10, 12, 20, right? Okay, so that's all. That's all the inputs. So we have 3 economic state. So expected return is how much you will get back from your investment a year from now. That's expected return. Variance is the square of the standard deviation. So variance is calculated first. And then after you get the variance, you get the square root of the variance. That's standard deviation. And this will be the risk, standard deviation. So we're expecting to see the stock 2 has more standard deviations, more risky. And we're expecting to get higher return for stock 2 also. And covariance and correlation, it tells like how much the two stocks are correlated. So it's not required for this class. But if the correlation is close to 1, and that means the two stocks are very similar. So if the two stocks correlation are close to -1, then they are just opposite to each other. For diversification purposes, we want negatively correlated stocks. Yeah, because we want Apple and we don't want Amazon. We don't want Google, or because the correlation will be too high. So variance, you can ignore the numbers in variance, because variance is the middle step. The middle one, you need to figure out the standard deviation. Yeah, maybe you want to turn off another light. I know it's not so good. It's, yeah, I know. I don't know how. I tried.
Too much?
That's probably the only. Oh yeah.
That's good. That's much better.
Okay. Yeah, so, but to get the expected return, and then we can use Excel to do that. So all we need to do, you guys know what's weighted average, right? The weighted average of return is the expected return. In other words, the weighted average, you just use, for example, 20% multiplied by 5%. This is weighted average. You just use the probability multiplied by its return, add them up. So it's 8%. Yeah. You see, so probability times the return, and then you add the second one, and then you add the third one. Yeah. It's just probability. See, it's the same.
Okay, wait. Just a second.
So it's called weighted average. Weighted average of return. Probability multiplied by the return. And the standard deviation is difficult. The risk, we use standard deviation to measure the risk. Or you can use sum product function in Excel. It's called sum product in Excel, and then all you need to do is just to define the array for probability comma, and define another array for return, and that's all. Should be B. It's called sum product. Sum product is just it just tells like you use probabilities multiplied by the return, and then add each one, add each calculations like that, add them up. That's your sum product. So the risk one is standard deviation is difficult. Somebody familiar with the equation for the standard deviation? You see, or refer to the equations in the calculator's website. It's there. And then can you guys tell me what the equation is here? You see, so we did the expected return. It's just probability times Ri, and we add it up. That's our expected return. This is a standard deviation. To get the standard deviation, you need to get the variance first. So here is the equation for the variance. Can somebody help me? Now you know this is the equation. Together, we need to get the variance first, and then get the square root of the variance. So, okay, now you see this is the equation. Let's plug into the plug into Excel. Copy image, let's see here. Okay, so, okay, it's, oh no, not this one. I should use this one. Okay, here is the equation. So, what shall I do now? So you see, ER is what we just got. That's the expected return. And then RI minus that and multiply by probability. So let's get the variance first. Okay, who can help me? That's the equation. Yeah, Catherine, can you help me? Cassie?
Where's the calculator?
No, no. We should practice in Excel, and then so we should learn, right? At least I should show you how to do that. We just follow this equation here, and it should be like this, right? So RI, where's RI? This is RI. RI, this is R of the first economy minus the expected return. This is the expected return here. So this is the first input.
Now you can't put in the values, you gotta put in the cells, right?
Yeah. And with the power of 2, right? With the power of 2. And then multiply by the probability. That's right. So we finished the first recession, first one. Now we need to repeat it for the second one. The 8% when normal economy happens, minus the expected return, again, we just repeat it, multiply by the probability. Now the third one.
Why don't you pick B3 for that one instead of B2?
What did you mean? Now it's B3, right? Now it's B3. Now we finished everything. Now we finished it and we added up. That's all. So this should be the variance, right? I hope there's no mistakes. Okay. This risk is just standard deviation. It should equal to SQRT. This is a square root. Is that right? So let's make it a percentage number. 6.95, is that right? Yep. The calculator, okay. So that's what you do based on the equation here. So it's just like for each return minus the expected return, and then multiply by the probability. So for this one, well, let me just, okay. But anyhow, so you know how I got it, but the calculator will give you the same result. But that's how it is calculated. So this is now my next question, why we can use standard deviation to measure the risk for Apple. Now let's try to do the calculation for Apple stock. So we did the Disney Now let's try the variance for apple. So it should be this minus this.
Is, your risk is the same as your standard deviation, is what you're saying?
Yeah. Okay, oh, it was wrong. Oh, I should use not D here, I should use B. B3 and B4.
Now, the calculator, the variance has 2 more decimal places in front of what yours is.
So is that right?
On the calculator,
Yeah.
the variance is
Yeah.
.00483. instead of
Yeah.
0.483.
Yeah, if I change this to number,
Okay.
yeah, that's a percentage.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's change it to percentage. So it's the same, right?
It is. It is the same.
Yeah, let me show you. Yeah.
I have to play with Excel later. It works on the calculator.
Yeah.
Can you go back to the calculator?
Okay, so it's,
So why did you change your values, the decimal place, when you do it Excel versus the calculator? See, like, look under your stock 1, you've
Yeah.
got the -5, 8, and 15, but then when you do Excel, you make it a -0.05 and a .08. and-
this is a percentage.
Oh, okay.
So they're all percentage.
Got it.
Yeah.
So when we do the
And-
Excel, we gotta get rid of the percentage.
Yeah,
What's the percentage?
for the variance,
Decimal place.
Yeah, I got it now.
Yeah.
Okay. So calculator, you put it in as a percentage, but on Excel, we get rid of the percentage and make it a decimal.
I know, it has to be a percent on the calculator because that's how it's looking at it.
Okay.
Excel,
You could do it, but you probably could do it as Excel too, get the same answer or no?
you get the same answer. It's just like in Excel here. Now I was showing the percentage number, but I can make it a number.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's the same. Yeah, so this is the equation. Now let's go back. If you need help for the Excel, and do you need more help? Do you need to?
Now let me ask you this, if we, for the homework, if we
Yeah.
have these type of problems, can we just use the calculator?
Some of you guys did. I don't know how you guys did it.